Hey there, it's Nick.
And it's Leah.
Real quick thing before we get going, we are going to Atlanta.
We're going to Atlanta,
Georgia for another live show.
This is going to be our last live show of the year.
It's going to be the last live show of the year, and it's going to be on Wednesday, December 4th.
It's going to be at the Limelight Theater.
And Leah is threatening to make this holiday themed, so I feel like there's going to be some holiday content happening.
Would we say threaten or would we say...
Strongly suggested.
Leah has delightfully thought that perhaps we could make merriment.
Ah, yes. Some holiday whimsy. So please go to our website, wereerasedbywolves.com, check the link at the top, and we would love to see you on Wednesday, December 4th in Atlanta.
Yes, come out.
Hey everybody, it's Nick Layton.
And it's Leah Bonema.
And we had so many great questions from you all in the wilderness.
Ow!
That we have a bonus episode, so here we go. Our first question is, quote, "What should we do when our windows are being washed? I live in a high-rise building and work in one too, and I never know how to react during window washing. Should I wave? Ignore them? Hide in another room? I want to be kind, but I also don't want to distract or annoy them while they're doing a dangerous job."
This is such a Leah question.
This is such a Leah question. Okay, so how would you handle this?
So how I would handle it is, you know when they first come up, your eyes make contact.
Mm-hmm.
I would do when they're changing their location, as opposed to when they're washing, when they're moving.
So they're passing your window.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would do like a, hey, smiley face. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right.
Like a nice welcome. I see you, you see me.
Okay.
Hello.
All right.
And then I would go about my business and let them go about their business.
Yeah, I don't think we need to hide.
No.
But I think it is nice to acknowledge their existence.
Let's acknowledge and then let them, let's not dance in front of the window while they're.
Right. I don't think we want to give them a show.
We don't want to give them a show. It's dangerous. They're probably got a lot of windows to get through. You know what I mean? But we do a hey.
Yeah, I think that's the right vibe. I mean, I was thinking about this and I was thinking I would treat it like they were actually doing work in your home. So if you had an electrician over changing a light switch for you, like how would you act around this person? So like you would greet them and then you would let them do their thing. And I would be clothed as this is happening. And so I feel like we also want to make sure we're like clothed when your windows are being washed. No?
I mean, what a tip. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Oh, you agree though, right? We're clothed.
I mean, if you're not clothed and it happens, life goes on.
Yes. I mean, if you were caught off guard, right. But I do think there are probably plenty of window washers who have encountered situations where they were deliberately shown things.
You think so?
I know. What?
No.
Hello, Ripley. Yeah. No, I think that may have happened.
I mean, we don't want to jump people, you know?
Yes. So I think it would be nice to sort of, be the way you would be if you had a plumber or electrician.
Yes,
or
let's not harass people.
Let's not harass people, yes. I think we also want to make sure our windows are closed because I think a window that is open can sometimes actually make it harder for them or actually could like hit their ropes in some way. So we want to make sure our windows are closed. And I think we also want to make sure we don't open our windows until they're totally clear. So just because they may be below you or above you doesn't mean like they're done in your line. So I think we want to be respectful and mindful of like, oh, where are they on the building?
I guess there are some, I'm still stuck back on what you said. I guess there are some people that are exhibitionists.
Absolutely. Oh, yes, 100%. Yes. No, this is the world we live in, of course.
Now we got to find a window washer. I want tales from the window washing.
Oh, I'm sure the things they've seen. Oh, the things they've seen. Yeah.
We must.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, any listeners who are window washers, let us know. What have you seen?
Please.
That we can talk about on our show.
Or we can just do it on the Patreon.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, that'll be a Patreon bonus. Yes. Wolves After Dark. Mm-hmm.
That way, if it slips into a PG.
Yeah, no, I'm sure the things that have been observed are definitely not PG. So our next question is, quote, "I just received a slightly upsetting series of texts from an old friend that I haven't spoken to for 15 years. She initially texted that she was updating her Christmas list addresses and if she could get my most recent address. Okay, fine. But then she followed up to ask for many of our mutual old friends' addresses. Was this rude? And am I under an obligation to give these to her when I know she's also in contact with many of these friends on Facebook? It just felt like a cheap way to get her to-do list done. I'm not inclined to give out anyone's personal information without asking, and I don't really feel like this is my job. Thoughts?
Do you want me to go ahead?
Please.
I don't give out other people's personal information ever.
No.
Even if it's to like my closest friends.
And I hate being asked. I really don't put me in that position.
Don't put
ask.
people in that position. It's rude.
No. The way to do it is if you really need that information and you know someone has it, I'd be like, hey, Leah, would you mind passing along my email address to Lisa, asking her to send me her address? And you can be like, sure. And then you have passed along the email address. And then what happens there is out of your hands. And if Lisa wants to send it, then she will. If she doesn't want to send it, then she'll ignore it. And it gives everybody sort of a nice, polite out.
Yes, that's the way to do it. And also, like, it's not appropriate for people to ask you to give out other people's information.
Definitely not.
That person could show up at people's houses and be a burglar. I don't know. I'm not giving out people's information.
Even if not, like, parents are notorious for this. I think all of us have had our email addresses given to other people by our parents. I think this is a very universal thing that happens. And even though it's like totally fine, and it's like, I'm pretty sure like this old family friend is not going to rob me, it always hits me the wrong way. It's just like, why did you give out my email address? Even if it's perfectly fine, there does feel like some violation there.
And if somebody takes it personally that you're like, hey, I don't give out other people's information, I'd feel more comfortable if you just ask them. If they take that personally, that's on them.
Yeah, I think that's a fine boundary. That's a boundary we have all decided we will set as a society. I think we all agree on this.
Or I'll text if it's something I think my friend would be interested in. I'll text my friend and go, hey, this person's asking for your address.
Sure.
What do you want me to do? But that is not this.
Well, that would be
that
you texting 50 people.
Yeah, that's not this. I'm just saying if in like a one-on-one, someone's like, hey, like for a job, I'll say that. Say my friend, hey, do you think this person want to do this? I say, let me ask. And I text them. I go, hey, this person's asking about this. Can I give them your info?
Oh, see, now the let me ask part I don't love because now I have to loop back with you. And if Lisa's like, no, don't give out my address. Now I have to go back to you and be like, no, she said no. And like, I don't want to be in the middle of that.
I don't think when I said let me ask, I meant I would say it out loud.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Let me go back.
Okay.
I'll text them on the side.
Yes, fair enough. And then the part of like, oh, can you do all of this work for me? I think this is also a problem here.
It's rude. Also, you haven't spoken to this person for 15 years.
Oh, that's material too. Yeah.
That's over a decade. That is a long time. And they're like, hey, can you give me addresses? No.
But also, she said that they're in touch with these people on Facebook. So they're like, you can also just message these people.
I'm going to assume at that point that they have messaged these people and those people have not messaged them back. And now you're circumventing by going through me.
Oh, interesting. So I think if we needed to have a line, the line would be, I prefer to not give out people's info, but definitely reach out to everybody directly. I'm sure they'd love to hear from you.
That is gorgeous.
Right? I think that's the vibe.
Yeah, that's totally it.
And another thought that is a little adjacent, but maybe is an explanation here, is that very often people want cards in the mail to be a surprise. Like this comes up with like thank you notes a lot, which is like, oh, I didn't have their address, so I didn't send them a thank you note and I didn't want to ask them. And I wonder if like, oh, I want these Christmas cards to all these people to be a surprise from me after 15 years. And if I reach out to everybody individually, they'll know it's coming. And I wonder if there's a little of that flavor happening. Is that being too charitable?
I mean, that's charitable.
Okay.
But I still don't give them the addresses.
Yeah, we still don't do it. But I wonder if that's where that's coming from. And it's not that I'm being lazy. It's just I wanted these things to be a surprise. And I think if we can dispel this idea that things in the mail always have to be surprises, that would actually make a lot of these problems go away. So if there is any of that element here, then like, let's just dispel that. Just ask people for their addresses directly if you want their address.
Because like physical addresses are where people live.
Yes.
Like you give out an email.
Right.
That person can ignore it.
Right.
This might be a person who likes to show up at people's doors and be like, are you busy right now? We don't know. We can't put our friends through that. And then you're like, how'd you get my address? And you're like, Leah gave it to me.
Yeah. Oh, that is definitely not a text message you want to get.
Yeah.
Which is like, hey, you gave my address to this person?
They're here now and they're in my bathroom.
They say hi. Nightmare. And now it's time for Intermezzo.
Intermezzo.
So we're going to be doing another live show, this time in Atlanta, Georgia.
We are so excited. It's our last live show of the year.
And it's going to be on Wednesday, December 4th at the Limelight Theater.
Come out and join us, please.
And Leah is strongly suggesting that it's holiday themed.
And if Nick won't give me holiday theme, I'm still going to do a poem.
Oh, we're going to do some poetry. Okay, an original Bonema.
I will get whimsy in here one way or another, Nick.
Whether you like it or not, there's going to be whimsy. So please join us on Wednesday, December 4th in Atlanta, Georgia. We'd love to see you. Go to our website, wereraisedbywolves.com, for all the details and tickets.
See you there.
And now it's time for an intermezzo.
Intermezzo.
So this episode is brought to you by a podcast called The Lisa Show.
The Lisa Show.
And The Lisa Show is a self-help, life help, and inspiration chat show.
So during COVID, Lisa lost her husband to ALS. And so she is currently a single mother of 5. And she talks about how her community of friends helped get her through it. So she now started this podcast wanting to create a community, wanted to create a space to inspire people, for people to talk about things that they're going through. There's a range of topics. One of her episodes is raising kids that make a difference in the world, how helping others helps you,
how to make charity work more effective,
putting down roots in a new place, dealing with the death of a loved one, just like some hard topics. And it's like chatting with your friends about it. You laugh, you cry, you come away feeling like you talked about stuff.
Check out The Lisa Show, wherever you get your podcasts. So, our next question is, quote, recently, I had a significant falling out with my uncle. Reconciliation is highly unlikely, and I've not discussed this issue with my extended family, and I don't expect my uncle has either. I'm planning to host a family gathering soon, and I'm creating the guest list. I have no desire to include my uncle or invite him into my home. I do have a friendly, but not especially close, relationship with my cousins, my uncle's children. I would normally invite my cousins to this gathering, but it feels awkward to invite them and not their father. I don't casually chat with these cousins, so reaching out to discuss the issue feels like there would be a lot of energy around it, and I don't want to come across like I'm trying to create drama or get people to pick sides. How would you handle this?
I was excited to hear Nick's idea on this one.
Oh, yeah? Okay, I have some ideas. So there are several etiquette themes here, and we've talked about them before, but I think they're good to mention again. So the first is that when you host an event, you are the host. And that means you get to pick the time, the place, the guest list. It's up to you. You are in charge of these things. You shall not be questioned. And so as host of this event, letter writer, you get to pick the guest list. And if you don't want to invite your uncle, no problem. Like, that's fine. That is your right as a host. Another etiquette theme at play here is that etiquette decisions have etiquette consequences. And so make whatever etiquette decision you want. Just know that there's going to be an etiquette consequence. And you just want to make an informed decision about that. So like if you're going to have a wedding and you decide you're not going to invite your best friend of 40 years to your wedding, yeah, there's probably going to be an etiquette consequence. So you just know, yeah, there's going to be some fallout there. So you can not invite your uncle. And so, yeah, he's probably going to be annoyed by that or upset or maybe hurt by that. Or he may be like, oh, yeah, I totally get it. Yeah, of course she's not going to invite me. So there may be a consequence, and just be prepared for that. Maybe your uncle won't invite you to their home, and you're probably cool with that. So I feel like as long as you're cool with the consequences, then make the etiquette decision to not invite the uncle. And so I would say invite the cousins if they're adults and they don't require the uncle to like drive them. They're not like kids or something. But if these are adult people, like invite them. And I don't think we have to have any commentary around it. Be like, hey, I'm having a barbecue. Come on down. Here are the details. And, you know, I'm sure they'll mention it to their father. And if they wanted to ask you why their father wasn't invited, I guess they could. Although he knows. Like he knows. But if they do ask and you have to say something, I think you would just be like, your father and I, we have had some personal disagreements, and I just thought it would be best to not invite him this time. But I hope you'll come, and just leave it at that. I don't think we have to actually explain.
Hearing you say it, that sounds like the best idea.
Yeah. I mean, is that not what you would do?
My initial thought was, I think we're clearly not inviting the uncle. She doesn't feel bad about it. That decision has been made.
Definitely.
But I got the idea that she doesn't really hang out with the cousins that much.
No. There's not really a close relationship, but it does sound like this is some sort of regular family, like, annual picnic kind of idea, maybe?
So my initial thought was, don't invite him. But when you say that, it makes sense that you would be like, oh, yeah. And if they bring it up, be like, oh, we had a falling out, but you're more than welcome.
Yeah, I kind of like that. Because, like, should you be responsible for the sins of the father? Is that what we want to be doing? Not necessarily.
I think that she is worried about them feeling awkward.
Well, then they can decline the invitation.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, this is not a subpoena. So if they feel like it's weird, then yeah, they don't have to go. And that's fine. And as host, you should not interrogate them as to why. Be like, oh, why aren't you coming? Like, no, just, oh, so sorry you can't make it. Hope you can come next time.
The other option is
Mm-hmm.
we just don't invite extended family.
Yes, you could change the nature of the event and, anybody in that tier maybe doesn't get invited. Sure. I mean, I think you have to decide as host, what do you want? What is the party you want to have? And do you want these people there or not? And if they do show up, are they going to be good guests?
Yeah, that's what I can't get a read on.
Yeah, I get the sense that there's sort of an obligation to invite the cousins because normally they would be invited to this type of gathering, so our letter writer says. So it would be expected that they would be invited based on whatever this event is. So I guess because we don't have much of a relationship with them at all, we're kind of neutral on it. And so I guess with that neutrality, then I guess which side would you err on?
I just wonder, is it really neutral or do we not like them?
I feel like it's neutral to negative. Yeah, it's probably leaning maybe a little more negative. Yeah.
What if they write back and they say, can my dad come?
I think you would have to then say, unfortunately, it won't be possible. He knows why.
He knows why.
You don't add that part.
No, you say, he knows what he did.
Yeah, but I think they know, though. I mean, of course they know. I mean, family drama like this, of course everybody's talking.
I think what Nick said is the most, what is this word?
Leah's gesturing out into the crowd. She is sort of passing around a basket of bread. What is this gesture?
It's a very easy word. My brain is just not firing on all cylinders today. It's the most, I just redid the gesture again.
Gracious?
That's not the exact word I was going for. No, that's not it either.
I mean, how long do we want to play this game?
I mean, how long do you have?
Just say Nick is
50
right.
minutes?
Whatever Nick just said was correct. Do what Nick said.
Well, I'm not going to say that exactly, but
someday you will.
I'm going to say I feel like that covers the most appropriate boundaries.
Yeah. I think it's the most etiquette approved response here.
But also, you want to cut him off. Cut him off. What's happening to me? I would like to chart my course from the beginning of this podcast.
Plotted on a graph of how intense you are.
Plot a graph. Yeah, on how I slowly become more like, shut him out, cut him off. What are we doing?
Yeah, no, your need to please has definitely declined as time has gone on. Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely your tolerance for things has definitely diminished. Yes. I mean, you're the woman now who's like, I don't do this. And you just shut it down.
But that's actually a polite response. I'm not arguing. I'm not saying anything rude. I'm just saying I'm not getting involved in this.
No, you have become a more polite person, I think, as time has gone on.
No, I've always been very polite.
Well, you're even more so.
I've become more, shall we say, direct.
Yes, you've definitely become significantly more direct as time has gone on. But hey, I'm here for it. Absolutely. So, have we covered it with the uncle? We have.
I think I also am like, why would not you not want a really small party? I love small parties. Just, in fact, make it you and your dogs.
Yeah. Oh no, a smaller guest list. Yeah, I'll take that too.
But I think what Nick said is, just for Nick, happy early Christmas.
Oh.
Nick was right.
Oh my gosh, where's my little heart? Okay. So, our next question is, quote, occasionally, I rent a car from a company that provides a pickup and drop-off service for customers. They send someone to pick me up from my house and take me to the rental office. And then, when I return my car a few days later, they give me a ride back home. The people who drive me are not cab or rideshare drivers, but clerks who otherwise work behind the counter at the rental agency. In this instance, should I sit up front or in the back? And what if they're giving a ride to another customer at the same time? Should we both sit in the back, or should one of us sit in the back and one of us in the front?
This is one where I just love to just ask. Open the door, stick your head in. Hey, where should I sit?
Yeah, I mean, I think actually that's not bad. I think that's not bad at all. I mean, my first instinct is that I think I would sit in the front because this person is like performing a courtesy service.
Yeah.
It's not like a taxi driver or an Uber driver. And so I do think there's a different relationship between you and the driver. And so I think it would feel better and more comfortable if you sat in the front.
Well, I would definitely open the front passenger door to say, hey, where should I sit?
Yeah, I guess asking is fine.
And then also, if there's somebody already in the back, you want to know, do you want me to sit with them or do you want to sit in the front so you're not alone?
Well, I guess if you're the second passenger and somebody's in the back already, then I would probably sit in the back because I think the rules have been established that we sit in the back, right?
Unless they look like a creeper, then I'm sitting in the front.
Although if they look like a creeper, do I want to sit in front and have my back to them and cannot observe what they're up to?
Oh, wow. That's
Right?
deep.
Right?
That's deep.
So that's awkward. But okay, if there is more than one passenger, if I'm first to the car, I've asked, oh, where do you want me to sit? And so I've gotten instructions. And then if the car pulls up and there's already somebody in there and my choices are there's an open front seat or an open back seat, I mean, we can still ask. Although I'm asking for permission from the driver. We don't care what the other passenger feels, right?
Correct.
Right. And so, hey, do you want me to sit in the front or the back? And then I guess we would take instructions. But then the default setting, though, if there wasn't a conversation, would be to sit in the back. Because we've established like, oh, this is chauffeur rules.
I'm just going to ask.
Okay, you're going to ask regardless.
I'm going to ask regardless because if I just got into the back, then the whole time I'd be like, I wonder if they wanted someone to just sit up front. I'd be thinking that the whole trip.
And does the length of the journey matter? I think it does. Because if this was like if this was an hour-long thing, it feels like front would be better, right? A little conversation.
I don't know. Or unless you're a person who hates conversations, then back would be better.
Oh, I mean, this is my nightmare. I'm not renting cars for this reason. Yeah. I don't want any of this. Right. Yes. Silent ride, please.
I think we bypass all of it by just asking.
Leah's correct. Yes. Happy early Christmas, Leah. You are correct. Okay. All right. So that's the answer.
But I'm saying if you ask, then you don't have to get into the seat and then worry about it the whole time.
So our next question actually is multiple questions that came in from different people around the world, all on the exact same topic. So I don't know what's in the water, but this is on people's minds. So I'm just going to read one of the questions because it encapsulates what's happening here, which is, quote, what's the proper public bathroom etiquette? Should I leave the lid up after each use so the next person doesn't have to touch the lid?
I feel like so many of the bathrooms I'm using in public places don't even have lids.
That was my first thought. Is like, where are all these lids?
Where are
Right?
all these lids? Well, we know from the recent episode that if you are at Burning Man, you have to put the lid down because the sand will come in. So if we are in an environment where there's sand blowing into your bathroom.
Fair enough. Yes.
I say yes for the sand.
But it's an interesting question because I guess the idea is like, do we want to put the lid down after use, which is what we would do in a private bathroom. Like if you're at a friend's house and you use the restroom, you should put the lid down after use. Like that should be sort of the default setting, right?
I guess.
I mean, is that not what we're doing? I feel like that's what we're doing.
I feel like lids are gross.
Okay.
I'm just trying to think of what I'm doing. And I guess I always put the lid down in like people's homes. But in public restrooms, I don't want to touch it. I don't want the next person to have to touch it.
Yeah, I feel like I would leave it open.
And I understand the idea that like when you flush, you don't want like particles to fly out.
Yes, the aerosoled whateverness.
But there are partitions in the bathroom.
Sure.
And it's already gross anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, can we just live with the fiction? I mean, that's how we have to get through life, right? In a public bathroom, we just have to like accept a certain fiction and just appreciate that our vision is not good enough to see microscopic things.
I honestly, that might be on my grateful list that I add every morning now that you brought it up. Thank goodness that I cannot
see microbes. Right.
I wouldn't leave. I mean, you wouldn't even want to be you wouldn't be anywhere.
No, I mean, if we walked around life with black lights, I mean, yeah, you would never leave the house. Or your house is probably terrifying. Right. So we do need a certain fiction. But yes, the idea of the lid down, yeah, no, I think we leave it up. I feel like I'm going to get letters, though.
Oh,
Is there a reason why we'd put it down? Is it this aerosol thing?
Yes. And I will say that sometimes like a woman's bathroom, when you flush it, I don't know if this happens in the men's bathroom. I'd be interested to know if you have completely different, if you're, extra income and your status as men gives you better flushes. But
the patriarchy is great when it comes to bathrooms. Yeah, there's definitely a shorter line in our restrooms.
Oh, there's definitely a shorter line, potty rights. But, sometimes when you flush, because it's like such a strong flush, water does get on the seat.
Oh, it like splashes up over the top, like a fountain?
like a fountain. And
What are these Bellagio toilets you're using?
I don't know if it's just in the women's room because they're like, hey, we don't know what you're doing in there. We're just gonna give you a flush.
They dial up the water pressure.
They dial up
for
the
you.
water pressure. I do this and I don't think that this is necessary, but I always, if it is a flusher that does that, I give the seat a little wipe and I just throw it into the dispenser.
Okay, that's courteous. I mean, I think men typically do not touch lids at all. I mean, I feel like many married couples acknowledge that the toilet seat is still an issue 40 years into marriage. So I think men just aren't hardwired to relocate toilet seats whatsoever. So I think the idea of the lids going down in a men's room, I feel like that has never come up as a question. Like if there's a lid, it's not getting touched.
I'm not touching a lid in a public restroom.
Okay, so that's just what it is. We're not touching the lid.
But I will dab a seat if the flush, and it's not like a horror story in there. You know, it's not like
right.
I'm just dabbing the water off if it's a crazy flush because I don't want the next person to come in and accidentally sit in water, which I don't have to do, but I'll do it.
Now, I've actually never touched a toilet seat directly because I'm always using some barrier. I'm going to use a little tissue. I'm going to use some toilet paper to get a grip on that thing. So, like, is it such a big deal to put the lid down or raise it up because we're going to have some tissue protecting us?
Yeah. I'm not touching anything without a barrier in there, but
right. Oh, but even with the barrier, you wouldn't touch the lid. I mean, like, we're not going to attempt it at all.
I'm not getting involved.
I got it. Okay. Yeah, I feel like that's
I'm
fair.
actually pretending it's not there.
I mean, the worst thing ever is when you have the protective barrier of the toilet paper and you are touching the seat lid to relocate it and it's a little wet and you didn't realize it.
Yes. Nightmare. You just have to
That
immediately burn
you
your
burn your
fingers
hand.
off. Yes.
Yes, exactly. So there's that. Okay, so it feels like this question, which is clearly in the zeitgeist, because we're getting multiple inquiries on this topic. I think we leave the lid up in a public restroom, and that's fine.
And then if we're at like a friend's house party,
Put it down.
Yes. And then if we're at Burning Man or any environment, I would say an outdoor restroom.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of my favorite hikes, and whenever I go to visit my parents, is out to this lovely pond. And there is actually a porta potty in the middle of the woods. I would always put it down there because you don't want animals.
Oh gosh. Yeah, no. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, let's not have animals fall into the porta potty.
Or hide in there and wait for you.
That's the nightmare. That's the nightmare. Okay, thank you for putting that in my head. Oh, I'm going to sleep real nice tonight. Oh, I'm never going to use a porta potty ever again.
Well,
Wow.
don't use it if it was outside and the lid wasn't down.
And check for animal sounds first.
Hey, you
Ooh.
guys in there? What if they need your help getting out, though? You know?
Wow. Okay. Wow, you're really giving me a lot to think about.
Well, I don't know what you're thinking about when you lay awake at night, but
Well, now it's
this in
raccoons in my toilet. So thank you.
you're welcome.
Okay. Well, you out there, thanks for joining us as well. And if you have questions for us, let us know. Let us know on our website, wereraisedbywolves.com, or you can send us a text message or leave us a voicemail, 267-CALL-RBW. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, Leah, one more thing.
What?
Have you signed up for Patreon yet?
I have.
Me too. You out there, have you signed up for Patreon yet? No? Well, go to our website, wereraisedbywolves.com, click on monthly membership, check it out, because we would really appreciate it if you'd support our show.
We love your support.
We would. So please do that, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.